What's up, snake fans? Dave Palumbo here from Muscle Serpents Daily, and I'm in the snake room real late again, and a couple of people requested they wanted to see some cool males that I have breeding. I'm always showing females, so I'm going to show you some male ball pythons that I really liked and that I used in the 2019 season into 20 to breed and produce some of the babies we'll be seeing in 2020 here. I can't show you them all, so I showed you a little smidgen, some highlights as I was cleaning, just to give you guys an idea of what I've inserted into my breeding program to show you what I think is kind of cool. Doesn't mean you think it's cool, it just means I think it's cool. Once again, I have a lot of males that I've used. I just picked a bunch of them out of the ones that I really, really like. And, hopefully you guys can appreciate why I picked them and put them into my breeding programs. As obviously we get more and more, clutches laid down, I'll show you some of the other males that I probably forgot to put into this video because I made it very quickly. But hey, sometimes the quickest videos are the best videos. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Let's take a look and see what we got for the 2019-20 breeding season for the males. Here's one of my favorite males that I used for breeding in the 2019-20 season. And this is a Microscale Clown. So this is a visual clown. It's got the small little mini microscales. You can see here they're like little bumpy beads. And of course it's scaleless head. It's one of the lines of scaleless head. They call it the Microscale scaleless head. You breed two of these together, 25% chance of producing a scaleless animal. So in the quest to produce a scaleless clown, this guy is helping out the cause. Of course, you need a female scaleless head as well to do that, so we're trying to make one this year. And he's really nice. You can tell that the microscales have much more intense coloration and contrast than a regular clown would have, so there is a visual cue or a visual difference to both the scaleless head animals and the microscales. Even though they're two separate lines, theoretically, I think they're compatible. I don't know if anyone's proved it yet, but I'm pretty sure they're compatible. But in terms of, you can do a scaleless head and breed it to a scaleless head, that Brian Barczyk line, and you can probably produce a scaleless animal. But to me, the microscales are kind of just cool because, not all scaleless head animals are microscales. I just like that little beaded microscale look. I know Kevin McCurley is the one that really got this line and made it famous, or made it different. Look at that head. Love it. All right, here is a scaleless head albino. That's all it is. There's no pastel in here, nothing. Look how light this snake is. Look at that. That's a regular. That's a head albino. It's just scaleless head. This is not the microscale. You can see how the scaleless head in its incomplete dominant form definitely influences color and pattern of the snake. It's pretty amazing. I produced an albino scaleless head last year. One snake from this male. Hopefully this year we're going to get some more babies. I'd like to produce an albino scaleless at some point. Doing it the long way, but it's all right. He'll probably breed back to his daughter next year and hopefully produce, in my collection, at least the first scaleless albino. And they've been produced already. They're pretty cool looking, so I'd like to see that. But he's really cool. This is another really cool male. I got this from Sean Bradley at Exotics by Nature a couple years ago. Been a very good breeding male and really nice color. I especially like this little Y here. I don't know why. No pun intended. I just like that. That's how I think I'm going to name him Y because of that. That's how I always know it's him. That's how I identify him. He's got some really interesting pattern here. Look at that. There's definitely some disruption from that scaleless head gene. This Mandarin male has been a really significant snake in my collection. Even though it's in single gene form, he's made some Coral Glow Mandarins for me, Coral Glow Pastel Mandarins. He made me a super Mandarin, which I traded, didn't keep. It was a girl last year, but she was exquisite. So sometimes the single gene can really do some cool stuff. And I like to use him because sometimes Mandarin is hard to identify. So if I use him, I know that the only thing he's throwing is Mandarin. There's no confusion in there. Now that I've worked with the gene a lot, I can tell the difference, between a banana Mandarin and a coral glow Mandarin, and even the fire and spider Mandarin I have. So he's getting a little frisky now. So he wants to go back and do some breeding, I think. Once again, so sometimes, single gene animals can be really helpful and useful, especially when you're trying to create new stuff that no one's created. It's nice to be able to know that whatever your animal's throwing, it's going to pretty much be, one gene only. Now, once I have a super Mandarin male at some point, hopefully maybe this next year I'll produce one, that will be perfect, because I'll know everything that it's throwing is Mandarin. Here is one of my favorite pied combos, the Albino Pine. I think this was like the holy grail a couple years ago. This is what everyone wanted. And then everyone made it, and then it kind of lost its luster, and then people wanted to make the lavender pie, the lavender albino pie they call the dreamsicle. To me, the dreamsicle is beautiful, but I think the albino pie is just as exquisite. I just think there's more of them, and once again, people always want what they don't have, so they're willing to pay more for that, and et cetera, et cetera. But this little boy produced a nice clutch for me this past year. I got another male albino pie that produced it. Haven't listed him yet, but he's going to go up for sale, unless I keep him as backup for this guy. I don't know. It's a possibility. But what I like about this guy is that he's well balanced. He's got equal white and equal, I guess you could say, pattern, albino pattern. It's not tremendous amount of white or tremendous amount of pattern. He's just perfectly 50-50, and that's hard to find with pies. Usually you have one or the other. I'm breeding him to I think this is a repeat breeding I'm doing. This is to the Enchi Candino pie. It's also possible Orange Dream, which would be nice if that's proved out. So we can produce Orange Dream, albino pies, Orange Dream, Candinos pies. We can produce Enchi albino pies, Enchi Candino pies, and there's always the possibility of them being Orange Dream. So a lot of good potential here. We'll see what happens with this. These snakes haven't. I tried this breeding last year and I didn't really have much luck with it. So hopefully this year, for some reason, he's good. The female just doesn't really want to eat too much. She's not a great eater, so we'll see if she produces something this year. All right, here's a beautiful looking snow ball python. I've produced pure snows the past couple of years, and they're very popular among people who want them as pets. Who doesn't want a white snake with beautiful red eyes? And my snows are really snowy. There's very little yellow in them, as you can see. This male is gorgeous. This is, once again, an albino combined with the axanthic gene. The axanthic I use in my snows is the SK line, or Snake Keeper line. I really like this version. I like VPI too, axanthics, but for some reason I got into the Snake Keeper line for the snows that I was doing, and I just like them. I don't know. They're really white. They reproduce pretty reliably white, and I stuck with them. Now, this male has been with me probably for 5 or 6 years now. I don't overfeed him in the off season. His little mate there is going to probably lay a clutch pretty soon, and then he'll have off until next year. So then he'll do a lot of eating. I feed him through the breeding season as well too, but not as much, because if I see a lock, I'm not going to take him out and try to feed him on feeding day. I'll give him the week off. So he hasn't really eaten that much these last 2 or 3 months. So he's looking to probably fatten himself up a little bit. He's gotten long over the years, but you can see he's lean because I don't overfeed him. And lean males always breed the best. It's funny, people in their collections, the animals they're going to sell, they don't usually feed as much. And then they wound up selling them to someone else, and they wound up breeding faster than the ones that they kept for themselves, the holdbacks that they were feeding a lot to try to get up to size. That's the ultimate irony in snake breeding. So anyway, there he is, my beautiful snow ball python. This is my stud. This is probably one of my best, most productive males I have. This is a banana enchi orange dream yellow belly pied that proved out this past year to be also het hypo, and it's Pot's het albino. I'm trying to prove that out this year. I mean, this guy is he is unbelievable. He's produced some amazing snakes in my collection. Some of my best pieds have come from him. Some of my best het pieds have come from him as also. I mean, and this past year we got some crazy champagne stuff from this guy. I have a champagne het hypo that he just made some amazing stuff, and that's how I proved out he was het hypo. I forgot that he was Pot's het hypo, and then I said, I'm going to prove him out this past year. So I hadn't even bothered before that, and he proved out for sure. So once again, when he was a baby, he was unbelievably exquisite looking. You know, obviously the bananas sometimes, you know, they do lose a lot of color. And ball pythons in general, when they get to be adults, they lose a little bit of their luster. They look better as a baby. As a baby, he was unbelievable looking. He's still really nice because he's really orangey yellow. Even his head, you can see, is like kind of pretty cool looking. And he's a low white pied. I guess he's got the enchi. Whenever you add enchi into pied, for those of you who don't know, a lot of people do know, it takes a lot of the white out of it, which is good, you know, if you're putting stuff in there that adds too much white. So enchi kind of balances the pieds off a little bit. I like low white pieds. You know, obviously the ideal is to get a perfectly balanced pied, but I do like the low white pieds. They definitely look kind of cool. Anyway, this guy has been with a lot of females this year, and he's almost done his job. And once he's done, I don't breed him all year. He's going to get off for, you know, a good 6 months before he's got to go again. So we'll put some good food in him. And he ate during the breeding season, because if you don't feed these males and you're putting them with multiple females, they will die. They will die. I've lost not a lot. I've lost maybe 1 or 2 males just in the beginning because I didn't know. And I was feeding them, but I just, you know, sometimes they overbreed. You got to give them a rest, you know, because they want to breed. Believe me, you don't have to make them breed. They want to breed during breeding season. So anyway, this is probably, like I said, one of my most valuable males. All right, guys, that's it. Once again, 2 o'clock in the morning. Only for you guys by doing videos 2 in the morning. It's the only time I can do it. It's the only time I have any silence or any kind of free time. But I love it. This is my sanctuary. This is my meditation time. I go into the snake room. No one's bothering me. Hopefully the kids are all sleeping. And I'm just doing my thing. Cleaning, looking, checking for eggs, you know, breeding behavior, diagnosing problems that are wrong. That's what it takes. You know, you got to be in your snake room doing the work. You can't have other people do it. Once you do that, things just don't work as well anymore, I find. You know, I like to have people help me, you know, now and then, especially, you know, when you're in the midst of the feeding season, because there's a lot of more poops. But hey, you know, during the breeding season, I like to get my hands on stuff. And hey, you know, thank you for the suggestion. A lot of people, you know, sometimes I run out of ideas, or I'm not really sure what to do. Someone said, hey, Dave, show me some males. The males are underrated. As you can see, though, if you notice, the males are a lot smaller than the females. There's no reason to have huge males, okay? There just isn't. Number 1, it's expensive to feed them. Number 2, they don't breed as well because they get fat. And number 3, they need a bigger tub. I keep all my males, almost all of them, I would say 99% of my males are in V35 vision tubs. That's like half the size of a normal ball python, you know, adult tub. And they stay in there their whole life. And I just don't feed them excessively. I have maybe one that's just, you know, he's a genetic freak. No matter what you feed him, the thing grows. But other than that, you know, I keep them smaller and they breed well, and I never have a problem. Every year they're really good. The only thing you have to keep an eye on when they're on the smaller side is that when you're breeding them up to a lot of females, you have to make sure you keep feeding them throughout the breeding season. And then in the off season, make sure you feed them consistently. Very, very, very infrequently do I give my breeder males anything more than a big mouse. They usually get large mice or jumbo mice in the off season to feed them during the regular season. I just don't give them rats unless I think they're a little undersized, and because maybe they've just been breeding a lot. But I don't do it. There's no reason. Mice are much cheaper, and I don't want them to get huge. If you give them rats, they're going to get big. That's just all there is to it. I save the rats for my females. My food bill's enough, and you guys know what I'm talking about. That food bill every week is high enough that I don't need to add a rat to every male that I use. Some people like to feed once every 2-3 weeks a rat, and that's fine and everything like that. But I find that their metabolisms work better when you're feeding them on a weekly basis, especially during the breeding season. So I try to give them mice, big mice. Sometimes if I have a leftover rat, I'll throw it to one of my breeder males, just because maybe I want to get them up a little bigger. Sometimes also, you have a really young male and you want to get them up a little faster, I might feed them more frequently. But usually I'm feeding them mice more frequently, maybe 2 mice a week, to get them up to size so they can breed. Because I bred males at 6 months, and sometimes you get great results and sometimes you get nothing. You get slugs. So you never know in that case, But obviously size does matter when they're young, okay? But once they get to that 1-2 year mark, it doesn't matter what size they are. Smaller is better. Trust me on that one. All right, hope you're enjoying the video. You know what to do. If you are, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, hit the like button. We'll see you back tomorrow morning.